Looks like you just threw this thing into prison and let them go at it. Grab a hole, any hole. Any hole. Holy guacamole, Batman. That's fucking disgusting. Dude's got a in his smoker. Hey, welcome to First Time Feast. I'm Bobby Perko. Today we're doing a wild one for you. We're doing a world first ham dog. The only way I can describe this is if you took 4th of July, crossed it with Easter, they made them have a baby, and you put it on a bun. Let's get it.
All right, guys, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna get our bread going. So you're gonna take some dry active yeast. You're gonna go with about a half a cup of water. We want it to be warm, but not super hot. Kind of like 140, 150 degrees, because if you go too hot, you're gonna ruin the yeast and it's not gonna rise. So get your water going, add a little bit of sugar. You'll know when it starts bubbling that it's some good stuff. So we're gonna flash on over. We're gonna get our ham started. So we're trying to get the concept of this. You know, ham dog, hot dog. You want a cylindrical ham core. So what better way than to go to your local Home Depot, get a piece of copper pipe, cut it with your hacksaw, clean out the pipe, and ram it through a ham. So that's pretty much what we got going here. You know, just your typical process. So, ooh, doesn't that just look good? That ham plunger. I was pretty proud of that. I made my ham plunger. So, dear Lord, did it do some damage to that ham? But it ended up being a lot of fun, and it was a good video here. So, flash on over to our pit boss, my old trusty pit boss. We're going to throw that meat in the smoker and let it get to work. With this bread, like I was saying earlier, it's about 5 to 7, depending on how big of a batch you want to make, cups of flour, add in some eggs, add in your milk and some melted butter, and we're going to toss that in a bowl. We're going to let it rest. It's going to rise, and it's probably going to double or triple in size. We're going to let that thing go. And so for this, we're going to get going with our caramel. So we wanted to make a caramel for these ham dogs. So we're going to get some brown sugar, we're going to get some paprika, we're going to get some honey, we're going to get some butter, we're going to get this thing all going in the pot. This is going to be kind of like a Cajun caramel. So we added some Slap-Yo Mama, all the good stuff to it. We're going to let that go over a medium-low heat. We're going to toss that up and we're going to stir it around here. You're going to see here. I was initially going for just kind of like a candied ham, but I ended up making caramel accidentally, and I meant to tell you, this is like a euphoric experience for me, because this was so beautiful. I was outside looking at this thing in the sun. I'm like, this is so pretty. I'm like, oh my god, I made caramel. So we're gonna flash over to the ham dogs. We're gonna get those things all slathered up in this delicious candy coating. But as you can see, we got some shriveled meat in the smoker. We're gonna get those things all candied up like prom night, and we're gonna let those things rest for about 30-40 minutes before we pull them off and assemble our monstrous creation here. So, well, look at that girthy girl there off to the right. That thing has a story of its own. And I went to art class with that son of her. I went to art class with that fool, and we made it work. So next step in this process, we got to get the condiments ready. So what better way to make ketchup and mustard than with some good old deviled eggs? So boom, look at that. Look at that. We got some deviled eggs here. We're going to get those things set aside, and we're going to get them ready for the next step. So checking in on our meat. It is nice and golden. It is caramelized. It is candied. It's ready to go. So we're going to pull that thing out here in just a minute. Now we want to get over to our other condiment. We want to get our beans going. So with our beans, we're trying to mimic ketchup here. So I kind of want that sweetness. I want that tartness. We're going to go with some onions. We're going to cook those down with some brown sugar. We're going to add a little bit of vinegar to this. We're going to add our actual baked beans. We're going to let those reduce and those simmer for probably 15-20 minutes on low, stirring them occasionally. Hit them with some paprika, some salt, some pepper, some garlic powder, and obviously just a little bit of that Slap-Yo Mama just because. We're going to let that thing go, and then we're going to set it aside, and we're going to throw it in the food processor. So take an overlook at this. So here is going to be our mustard. We're going to work on our mustard. So for this, I was thinking, okay, so for deviled eggs, you can go sweet, you can go savory, you can go salty, you can go sour, however you want to do it. So for this, I want it to mimic mustard. So what better way than to make this thing really acidic and really vinegary. So we got our ketchup. Sorry, not our ketchup. So for this, we want to make it really vinegary. So for this, we got our mustard, we got our mayo, we got our dill, we got our paprika, and we got our pepper. We're going to put all those things through the food processor. We're going to let them go for a little bit. We want a smooth, creamy texture. And then we added just a little bit of water to it too to get that shine, get that sheen. Okay guys, so now we're back. We're gonna get going over to with our baked beans. Those are just freshly off the stove. We're gonna put those in our food processor. We're gonna let those things do the exact same thing that we did with the mustard. We're gonna add a little bit of red dye 40 to this. I wanna go for that ketchup red. We came really close right out the gate. I think I added just a little bit more ketchup and a tiny bit of barbecue sauce just to kind of get a little bit of a darker color. But this, honestly, surprisingly enough, tasted like ketchup. Not only did it look like it, it tasted like it too. I was like, damn, dude, like we did really good on this one. Now that the condiments are out of the way, we're gonna finish up our bread. This bread, I am not proud of this bread. It was a sloppy, goopy mess. It was a rush job. Definitely don't be judging me on this one because it was not good. But what we're gonna do now that it's rested. We're going to kind of beat it up a little bit. We're going to flatten it out. We're going to divide it up into 6 even-ish portions. We're going to let that thing form those into the hot dog bun shapes, and then we're going to slather them up with a egg and whitewash mixture. That way it gives it a really pretty color when it comes out of the oven. Look at that. Honestly, they looked really good. They were a little bit thicker and a little bit more dense than what I wanted them to be, but we're going to cover those up with some melted butter, and you know what, there's really nothing better than fresh bread out of the oven. So we're going to cut those up. I'm literally burning the crap out of my hands, but finished product, guys, Hamdog. Look at that guy. That is gorgeous. Now dig in.
Thank you all for joining us on First Time Feast. As you can see, this creative creation was actually an abomination. Didn't quite turn out like we wanted to, but I bet you will see it again on a future episode. Please, as always, like, subscribe, and comment on what you would like to see in the future. Can't wait to see you on future episodes. Thanks. What does that mean? Oh.
That was perfect. I literally got you going, and he's going, huh?
What does that mean? Quite on. Okay.
That's perfect.
Get the KitchenAid logo if you can. I need a new KitchenAid.
This little mixy-majig, I think that's the technical term for this, is the mixy-majig. You'll know it's working when there will be like a kind of like a pond scum foam on top of this. So. Not exactly what I envisioned, but there's a reason why this shit probably doesn't exist. Not the size that matters. It's how she'll taste. Well, we got fucking canceled because we murdered this fucking ham. Oh god, it's looks like you just threw this thing into prison and let them go at it. Grab a hole, any hole. Any hole will do. Holy guacamole, Batman. That's fucking disgusting. Oh, you know, just curating my meat here. This dude's got a in his smoker.
I'm master basting, bro.
Oh, basting, sorry.
Master basting.
You're really good at master basting.
Oh yeah, man. I'm a master.
Can you teach me how to master baste?
I'll show you, but it'll cost you.
Can we master baste together?
What the hell's VJ? You have to ask, son. You can't afford it. Oh man, it's all glistening and perfect.
James, you want to master baste with us?
You know what? Every time I try to get an appropriate video,
Who wants appropriate, man?
This is really hot on my hands. Holy shit.